Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 Volvo V90. This is the Cross Country Ultra. This model is also finished off in vapor gray with an MSRP just over $73,000. Now this is powered by a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged and supercharged engine. It's also paired to the 48-volt hybrid system along with the 8-speed automatic. It pumps out 295 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this 4,300-pound station wagon from 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds. It has a top speed of 112 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.9 gallons. You'll expect to see 22 miles per gallon in the city, 29 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 115.8 inches. Its overall length is 195.2. It has a width of 75.9, a height of 60.9, and its ground clearance measures in at almost 8 inches. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, this has a very nice design to it. You'll notice that up front, there's chrome for the entire grille. It's even going right through the Volvo logo, which is also the sensor for distance pacing. There's a forward-facing camera too, plenty of cutouts in that grille to provide a lot of cooling. This also has LEDs for the headlight housings. And then there's fog lights in the lower section, parking sensors too, and then some more brushed accents for that entire lower section. There's also some very nice lines that come down the hood too, and then some more cutouts right in the middle of that lower section there. Now there's also some plastic trim accents in the lower section of the bumper that works its way to the fender flares. It's also in the lower side skirt area there. This also has a really nice set of multi-spoke wheels with that two-tone design to them. Now this also has power folding side mirrors. There's a camera and a turn signal. Gloss black trim accents for all of the window trim. There's a full moonroof up top, and then some more brushed accents for those roof racks too. And then some really nice lines that run down the side. You'll notice in the lower section of the door there, I think it has some really nice proportions for this station wagon. Now this model also has air ride suspension for the rear just to give you a little bit softer of a ride. And this can also tow right around 3,500 pounds when properly equipped. Very interesting to see for the station wagon, but it makes it much more practical if you have some smaller trailers. Now there's also the third brake light up top with the integrated spoiler. There's the wiper blade, very large taillight housings. Everything is LED, of course. There's a backup camera, all the parking sensors, and then more brushed accents for that lower section, along with Cross Country stamped in that plastic there. Now there's a few ways you can open up this power liftgate. You can use the button on the key fob, the button underneath, or this even has the kick option. So you have hands-free where you can do that as needed. Now with this station wagon, take a look at the amount of cargo space. This is a massive area. You have this cover here that you can use as needed, and underneath the floor, there's even the spare tire and a little bit of storage where you could place some smaller items if you really needed to. There's also a strap and a 12-volt. And of course, you can also fold down the back seats. So that's going to give you a lot more interior space, just depending on the items that you need to place in the back. And then you have the same ways to close it, along with the 2 buttons that are located up top. Now, if this vehicle is locked, this does have proximity door handles, so you can lock and unlock it from the back, where the interior for this model has the manual adjusting sunshades. There's also some very nice trim accents, Bowers & Wilkins audio, which is a $3,200 option. And then there's a little bit of storage in the lower section there, and then more gloss black for the window adjustment. And then take a look at the interior. It's a light blue color, which I think is a great accent. Now there's storage pockets up front. This also gets heated rear seats. There's your fan speed, along with temperature, air vents, and auxiliaries down below. And then at my height, even with a hat on, I have about 1.5 inches or so of headroom. So it's actually pretty spacious for this vehicle. Now right in the middle, there's the armrest. You have cup holders on the end of it, and then you do have to open up this door from the back of the seat, but that gives you a cut through if you have any small items that you'd like to place through. And then look at how large the cargo windows are in the back. It gives you a lot of visibility for the back of this vehicle, especially around that pillar there. Now up front, this does get memory seating adjustments. There's the mirror controls, window adjustments, and then more storage down below. And then power operating front seats, which have a similar design to the rear, of course. And then once inside, we're greeted with a solid leather steering wheel, where on the left side, there's cruise and distance pacing. On the right side, there's Bluetooth. You also have volume and tuning adjustments. And then let's start this up. just twist this dial to the right and it will bring it to life. We're now looking at the gauge cluster. On the left side, there's miles per hour. On the right side, there's the tach, and you'll notice right in the middle, it is blank right now. If you push on this button here, you can actually bring up the navigation and then hide that away when you're not using it. So that's the only adjustment that you get for the gauge cluster. Now to the left, there's a little bit of storage. You have a liftgate release, one air vent. This also has a head-up display. You get a speaker along with leather for the entire dash. Now right in the middle, there's the vertical screen here. Your home button is this physical button down below where you can get into all of this information, maps, music, your phone, and you have air quality here. Now you can push on the 4 squares on the lower left and get into all of these apps. You can also bring up the camera system. So this has the backup camera right now at the moment, along with the top-down view there, the sensors. You also have other settings that you can get into as needed. You can also get into the heated steering wheel, heated seats, ventilated seats too, and quickly pull up all of your climate adjustments. So you have all of this here, along with being able to adjust the rears from up front, and you have some parking settings too that you can go into for that system. On the far right, you have different settings that you can go into just to set this up the way that you would like to. There's a large air vent on both sides, and then underneath that, there's some defrosters. You have volume along with play and pause for the audio. And you do get a really nice wood trim accent. You can open this up where you'll notice a little bit of storage. There's also a 12 volt, some storage in front of 2 cup holders, and you can hide those away as needed too. Now this model also has a crystal shifter. So if I put this into reverse, you'll notice that backup camera up here, of course, and then we have drive all the way to the back, and park is located behind that. Now, if you actually go one more step behind drive, this is how you can actually shift using the shifter. There's no paddle shifters for this model. There's auto hold with the e-brake. You get some auxiliaries with a little bit of storage, and then plenty of storage is in the glove box. More wood trim accents for your passenger. Garage door buttons are up top with the rear view mirror, and then you have dome lights, and you just swipe your finger forwards or backwards to activate the sunshade and the sunroof. So it's a touch sensitive control. And then here's a look at visibility. You have massive windows like I mentioned earlier, so you definitely have no issues with seeing over both shoulders. As we sat off now behind the wheel for the Volvo V90, last year I got to drive the V60, so if you want to see that separate review, take a look at that. But for this V90, this has been a really fun vehicle to drive over the last couple of days. It's very quiet, well-refined feeling. It is a little bit on the more subtle side as far as technology features go. So if you're not looking for a vehicle with a ton of technology, this is a great option to go with. It doesn't have a million different bells and whistles. This particular model here also has about $7,000 or $8,000 worth of options too. So you have half of that is the stereo system. So you have a few options for this particular model. The air ride rear suspension too. Interesting, it's not in the front, but maybe being in the rear, being able to tow 3,500 pounds might be helpful in those situations to keep it level, which is nice. So you have a few options that you can go with, and for the price, I think it's a really nice vehicle. Again, more on the basic side with all of the tech, but some people like that. Personally, I don't need a million different settings to go through. However, I do wish the gauge cluster was a little bit more configurable rather than just having the nav and no screen here. So it would be nice to see a little bit more to go through there. But other than that, it's been a really nice vehicle. Not super confusing as far as all of that goes, and its drive has been very comfortable as you would expect. It's very quiet too. We have just a nice vehicle to daily drive. If you're looking for something that is going to give you a lot of interior cargo space, but you can still have passengers, this is a great option to go with, especially if this is going to be your daily driver. This is something that also has a little bit more ground clearance, so it's something that you could probably take off the pavement if you're going camping or something like that. It just gives you a little bit more confidence in being able to go over some obstacles. So it's not a real off-roader, but like some of its competitors, being able to go down gravel roads or anything like that with the all-wheel drive system too, it is going to give you the confidence that you need. It's also pretty comfortable too, and I don't think I mentioned earlier, this does have massaging seats. So you can go through all this information within the infotainment system to dial this in and just give yourself a very comfortable ride. And we're in the manual setting now, second gear, here we go. surprisingly, this is actually very quick. Now there's no paddle shifters for this model, so you are shifting left to right with the shifter down below, but honestly, that is a pretty good acceleration for this station wagon. Now we do have that turbocharged and supercharged engine, which I think Volvo is one of the only companies, maybe Jaguar has that too, Land Rover, but with the Volvo here, you have the supercharger to assist the turbochargers, which is surprising it doesn't have even more power, but that was adequate enough. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for this Volvo V90. Definitely a nice place to be. We have some very nice materials. I currently have the massaging seat on at the moment, so it is giving me a very comfortable and relaxing drive. Now, like I said, we also have all-wheel drive, so in inclement weather like this, it is going to give you that added grip and just a little bit more confidence depending on where you are driving and the conditions that you are in. But like I said, it's been very nice. I haven't packed it full of items, but there is a lot of space from the items that I have put in this, and it's just a comfortable, enjoyable vehicle to drive. Now you sit kind of low, as you would expect. You're more in a sedan really with this station wagon, but we do have a height adjustable seat here, so just depending on how that is going to work for you, I think it's a really good seating position. You have a good outlook over the hood too, and it's been very maneuverable too. For its added length, being a station wagon versus a sedan, it's actually not that bad to maneuver and park. So the turning radius is pretty tight, giving you a great maneuverable vehicle. So perfect for daily driving and just being able to use this almost as an SUV, just with a little bit shorter of a height in vehicle. But that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Volvo V90 Cross Country. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.